Here we are today interviewing Brian Murphy, head baby boomer of website www.bonza.com.au. So Brian, what exactly do you do in your role?
As editor of the BONZA site, my role is to each month update it, make sure that the information that's in there is all relevant. I've been doing that now for some 8 years, and I find that the site is a very, very good information site for baby boomers or anyone that wants to know about baby boomers.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been involved now with the mature age and baby boomers since 1997. In 1997 I ran across a group called the Grey Army here in Australia, and then I went on to found a Grey Skills in New Zealand, which was a highly successful organisation that got jobs for people who are over 50. On coming back to Australia in 2002, I had realised after talking to thousands of mature age that we really had a problem with mature age and the whole ageing process in the world. I started to do a lot more research, put the information down, and came up with the idea of having a website. We called it BONZA because BONZA means good in Australian terms, but it also means baby boomers of New Zealand and Australia. And I've proudly kept that going now for 8 years.
Just explain to me exactly what a baby boomer is.
Baby boomers are really unique to 4 countries. The United States, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. They were the 4 countries that didn't have the devastation of World War II, where they had a rebuilding process in many European countries and Asian countries. Those 4 countries did not have to rebuild. So when the soldiers came home, they felt very secure and they had big families immediately. The baby boomer concept is about those 4 countries. There are 79 million babies that were born in that time between 1946 and 64. 79 million in the USA, 20 million in Canada, 5 million in Australia and 1 million in New Zealand. It doesn't mean that there are no baby boomers in other parts of the world. It just means that they didn't have them until, you can imagine, Japan waited 10 years before they had rebuilt enough to people to feel secure enough to have bigger families. So those 4 countries in particular have huge populations coming through that are going to be a bit of a problem for their governments.
And why do baby boomers get blamed for government decisions on budgets?
We've had it very easy for a long time. Having the numbers that we've got in those 4 countries, governments have always had to focus on baby boomers. In the earlier days it was for birth situations. As we grew up they had to build special high schools to accommodate so many. It's always been a focus on us. We've had good lives, but what we haven't done is put a lot of money away for our future. So the governments are now faced with the fact that we have this ageing problem with so many, and they're going to need lots of money in health particularly. We're talking trillions of dollars in health. They're going to need money for aged care, and they're going to need money for age pension. So that's why people want to be critical, and they are also very critical because baby boomers haven't got a lot of money saved for their future, and that is a huge problem.
Do you think all baby boomers will struggle in their old age?
Some have been lucky enough, depending on what country, to be able to save some money. We have a thing in Australia called superannuation, where people have money put aside in their work, but it's only been in for the last couple of decades, and many baby boomers missed out on this, so they haven't got funding, but some have. So the ones that have got good superannuation will be able to look after themselves as they retire. In other countries, I imagine it depends on their situation. If they've been able to save and look after their greatest asset, their home, then that's going to be worth a bit and give them a future. But it really depends on the individual, how much they'll struggle. And why will they struggle? Because 30 years ago we used to die on average around about 65, 70. Most people, that was the average age. That age is now blown out until the 80s. People are going to live until 80, and as medical research keeps doing what it's doing, we could be talking 90s as an average. So that's a long time for people to be retired, and they're going to need a lot of money to be able to look after themselves in that time. If the government can't pay them, who's going to pay them? Those questions are coming.